welcome back to the Balance and Built podcast. My name is Morgan.
And my name is Shay.
And Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2026.
Yes, Happy New Year. We hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, a good New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Perfect time to get back to the podcast. As you guys can see, we are virtual today. I don't know if you guys know or if I mentioned it in a previous podcast, but I had to have surgery, and I was a little overly optimistic, as usual, about my ability to get back. And so Morgan was nice enough to let us do virtual today. I just don't think I was gonna be able to make it into the set, so I appreciate you with the flexibility.
Well, I appreciate you still showing up to do this episode. I'm excited. We're going to be talking about something that, of course, we have to talk about for our first episode back in the new year.
Literally, of course.
Is New Year's resolutions.
Oh, we love a New Year's resolution. Actually, we don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we?
No. Funny enough, and we were talking about this before, and I don't know if anyone listening to this is like this, but I'm not a New Year's resolution person. I've never been. I have reasons for it, which is kind of what we're going to be talking about today that we're going to tie back in, so I don't want to talk about them too much, but I've never been somebody that will start something on a Monday because that's too common, and I've never been someone that's going to start something at the beginning of the year. I just start things when I want to start them because I have a why and I have a purpose to why I want to start what I am doing.
Period.
Literally, period. So anyways, you guys, before we get into this episode, please be sure to like this video, download the episode, share it with a friend, and be sure to subscribe to our channel, leave us a review. It really helps us support our channel. And Morgan and I are really hoping to get some really exciting things done for the Balance and Built podcast here in 2026. So any support is super, super helpful and goes a longer way than you think that it does.
Yes, and let us know. Comment down below if you have any topic requests that you want to hear us talk about in the new year. We're always open to that.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some planning here in the upcoming weeks. So if there's anything that you want to hear specifically, make sure you get it in there so we can put it on our calendar.
Yes. All right, let's get into it.
Let's get started. So obviously we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, but specifically why New Year's resolutions don't work out. So before we kind of get into our tips, is there anything specific on your end that you remember setting a New Year's resolution and just not working out, or what made you not want to start setting New Year's resolutions? Maybe share something like that.
Yeah, I used to always make a list in my notes app of 10 things, and it's that is way too overwhelming. One, you can't just 180 change your whole lifestyle. I mean, some people can, but I've said a lot of times in past episodes, I feel what makes it stick is slow, sustainable changes. So yeah, those never really ended up working out for me. And I guess that kind of led me to just not setting them. Another thing that kind of changed my mindset about it, I don't know if anyone listening is into astrology or anything like that, but the astrological New Year doesn't actually start until spring. The Chinese New Year doesn't start until February. So there's a lot to say about our calendar, and it's really difficult to just change all of your habits in the middle of winter, in the dead of winter when everything's dead and decaying. And I don't know, I feel it feels more natural to start new habits and new practices in spring when everything's blooming and the weather's warming up and the sun is out, and it just, I don't know, naturally that feels a little bit better. It's not to say that I don't practice any New Year's stuff, but it just kind of helped me reframe it a little bit. That's why maybe it's so hard to completely do a 180 in the middle of winter.
Yeah, no, I like that you brought that up because I actually think so. I work in manufacturing, and some of our builders, they're Japanese builders, and their new year starts in March, I want to say. That's when their fiscal year closes and things like that. So I could definitely see that, especially because when it starts getting nice outside, especially if you live where we do, and we live in Ohio, but if you're in Ohio, PA, Michigan, Indiana, those areas, it gets so gloomy, gray, and gross in the wintertime. I could definitely see why starting something in the springtime would just not only makes you want to get outside more, so you're gonna naturally try to be more active, but it just has everything is breathing life back into. I think we all suffer from seasonal depression in Ohio anyways, so I definitely see that. Now for me, in terms of what I have done in the past and why I don't really do New Year's resolutions now. So I don't want to say I don't do New Year's resolutions. I just do them differently. So like whereas maybe when I was 15, 16, 17, 8 years old, it was like, "Oh, I'm going to lose weight this year." And that's really sad to say as a 15, 16-year-old, but that's just the reality of our world.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to, something body related. Now I break them down into like what's a like personal goals, financial goals, and professional goals. And I make them a little bit bigger where it doesn't have to do with me. It's like, well, I mean, it does have to do with me, but it's not directed towards me as if in like my New Year's resolution failed because I didn't lose the weight I wanted to, or my New Year's resolution failed because of a negative thing. So Connor and I were actually just talking about this, and I was like, I think for me, like personally, or I'll just start like for our relationship, like our goals this year are to buy a new house. Like that's a really big goal for us this year. We also want to take advantage of Connor's off days a little bit more, whereas like sometimes we get a little bit too in the groove and don't take advantage of that time he has off. We want to make sure that we take advantage of that. So I'm going to be putting together like a little date jar thing where we can like pull
Oh,
things out to do and like
that's
stuff like
fun.
that, especially because if anyone listening to this, like if you're a bodybuilder, like a lot of times half of your year is also spent in prep. So not only does like Connor and I have very opposite schedules,
Mhm.
but also half of my year is typically spent in prep and it will be next year as well. So I want to take advantage of the time that we have now and then also start coming up with ideas for when I'm in prep. Um, so those were kind of like our two relationship goals. Oh, and we do want to start like an Airbnb rental business together. And I guess like that for like vacation rentals, but I guess that's like a little bit professional, a little bit relationship because we want to do something together. So
Yeah.
those are like more so of the goals that I focus on when it comes to New Year's resolutions because they're a little bit more long term. And it's like when December 31st, 2026 hits, if those things aren't achieved, they can still be achieved in 2027 without me feeling like a failure because they are bigger goals. Like to
Mhm.
say I'm going to start an Airbnb business in 2026, like that really means we're going to start thinking about it in 2026, start planning for it, and then like get ready to roll in. So it's not really like a New Year's resolution. It's more so just like, hey, like what are our goals like moving forward? And then however long they take, they take.
Yeah. I love that. I love splitting them into categories. I think that's
Yeah.
so cool.
And like I think making more positive goals as well. Like if you do want to make like goals that are body related or something, make it like, man, my goal this year is to get to the gym at least 3 days a week. Like my goal is to be able to like get on a leg press machine and be able to do 3 plates on either side. Like those are
Mhm.
like or like I want to get into my advanced yoga class this year. Like those are more positive goals versus being
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds this year and that's it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
100.
side note, sorry, go ahead.
What?
I was gonna say one more thing. The reason also why I don't like setting New Year's goals is because there was one year that everybody was like, New Year, new me. And nothing was cringier than that. Because I'm like, that's such a lie. Stop
Yeah.
lying to yourself.
I
You
know.
don't change from December 31st to January 1st. Sorry,
Yeah.
you don't.
I know. And it's like so much pressure too. And then if you don't completely change into a new person, then you just feel like crap about yourself. And
Yeah,
that doesn't help you get more momentum to like, improve yourself at all.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Okay, so what is your first thing on why you think New Year resolutions don't work?
So, yeah, I kind of talked about this a little bit before, but I just feel like making them like we need to be making our resolutions, goals, whatever you want to call it, more identity based. Like for me, it really helps me to think about the kind of person I want to be instead of just like the things I want to check off. So, like an example, instead of I want to lose weight, shifting it to the kind of person you want to be. I want to be someone who takes care of my body consistently, who's showing up every day, cooking the healthy meals, moving my body, like taking my supplements, and just being consistent with it. And then that again shifts it more into like a lifestyle change than just a short term little thing. Because, like we've talked about, if you're just trying to do it as fast as possible, people usually end up like swinging back the other way and gaining the weight back or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, shifting it more into that. And like, I know a lot of people, I know vision boarding is a thing and people have a lot to say about it. So I did make a vision board this year, but something that I did differently this year than past years is that before I even went to Pinterest, looked up pictures, like I sat down with my journal and I looked up a couple like journal prompts that helped me to put together a list of words that I want to feel in the new year. So like a couple of my words that ended up are like secure, stable, inspired. I can actually pull them up. Like joyful, content, happy, calm, creative, leader, expert, flow, healthy, abundant, like that kind of thing. And then from there, I was able to go into Pinterest and look up more photos that kind of like what's the word? Represented those words. So instead of just going to Pinterest and looking up a car, a house, a stack of cash, like it's more so like for example, me this year, I'm gonna be doing my 200-hour yoga teacher training. So I put on a lot of photos of like a teacher adjusting a student and like a woman giving a workshop or a talk or something like that. Like not so much like materialistic things, but more just like representing that list of words. And I feel like that helps it to be more, first, more able to come true. Like I did a lot of research about people that say like people that swear by vision boarding, and that's kind of the overall vibe is like the feeling that you want to manifest and not so much like the materialistic thing that you want to get, because those things come with it, you know. But if you
Yeah.
just make a board of like I said, a car, a stack of cash, like you can't just get those
What
things
does
out of,
that mean? How
yeah,
are you
what does
getting
that
there?
mean?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So that I feel like is something like a lot different than I've done in past years.
No, I like that because I think, well, starting with the vision boarding, well, actually, no, starting with the identity thing, I think when you frame it as an identity, like think about the conversation you're going to have for yourself in the future. If your goal is to say, I want to lose weight. Okay, now every single time you look at food, it's going to be like, okay, I need to eat less. Okay, I need to eat less. And then the second that you don't eat something that's less or whatever your brain is doing right now, like you're just going to go off the rail versus if you say to yourself, I want to live healthier and happier consistently, then when you make a choice, you could say, cool, like 90% of my week I made the choice to be healthy
Mm-hmm.
and do these things for my body, but it's not like I just disregarded losing weight. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really make it more about, like you said, I want to be healthier this year, more consistently, then okay, what does more consistently mean? And then you can talk to yourself that way. Okay, I'm gonna have my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, then I'm gonna go out with my friends and like just to be a little bit more consistent, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. It's such a more positive way to frame it. And a
Yeah.
lot of times when you do have a more positive mindset, I know this is definitely the case for me. The more positive you have of a mindset, the more that you are going to be attracted to do whatever that thing is that you're thinking about, versus if your brain's always thinking in the negative, like you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a very positive thing. It doesn't make you feel good to think those things about yourself. So just, I love like the reframing thing. I love doing that just in general life. And then as for the vision boards, I think the one thing that like vision boards or like anything that anyone does to kind of prepare, whether it's for the new year or just new goals, is there's accountability there. If you are taking the time to research, write down, put something on a board, like ultimately at the end of the day, like we all need to have some type of self accountability. And I think vision boards and like really taking the time to think about what we're doing with our goals is a form of accountability. It just, instead of just waking up and saying, I'm gonna, I don't know, become a millionaire this year. Okay, well, where's the accountability? How are you doing
Yeah.
that? Do you have that written down? Who's holding you responsible? Like, all those things. So I definitely like that a lot. I think those were really
Yeah.
good.
And I think just like like I put it as my laptop background, so constantly seeing that every day, it's not just looking at it, but like it reminds me to consciously make a little small step every single day towards something on that board, and kind
Yeah.
of just keeps your head in the game, because I feel like you can kind of get off track, you know, life happens. So yeah, it's not just like make a board and then it all comes true, but like consistently making small actionable steps towards those goals every single day is what's going
Yeah.
to get you there. And then yeah, you're bound to, like you were saying, you have to eat less every single time. You're bound to not eat less one of the time.
Yeah.
So of course that's not going to work. And
Right.
I some people will be like, well, it's not specific enough to just say that I want to eat healthy. Okay, that's fine. Like, you can break that down to something more specific. Like, for example, I want to eat whole foods for, I don't know, there's 21 meals in a week. I want to eat whole foods for 18 meals in my
Right.
week or something like that. Like,
Right.
you can make it more specific, but just not so I want to lose weight.
Yeah, it's just
So
it's the
negative.
reframing. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
reframing, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
my first one like kind of ties into this is you don't know what your why is. So many people start New Year's resolutions and I'm just gonna keep along the path of like the weight loss because that's what 90 I guarantee there's probably someone drop in the comments the statistic of how many people say they want to lose weight at the beginning of the year. And look it up and put it in there because I guarantee you it's a huge amount. But you lack a why. You don't have a why. The
Mhm.
thing is the new year is not going to just automatically make you accountable to something new. So you have to figure out why you actually want to do something. And the reason can't just be because you feel like crap after what you just did over the holidays. If you went bananas on Thanksgiving and had 5 Friendsgivings and then you went to Christmas parties and ate all the cookies and you like turned 5 days of holidays into 5 weeks of just celebrating and going off the rail, of course your goal is going to be that you want to feel better in the new year. And the answer to that you think is losing weight,
Mhm.
right? So, like, that's not a big enough why. You have to have a why for yourself. Morgan, I'm sure if I asked you what your why was for the reason why you do yoga and the reason why you do hot yoga and Pilates and you do the things that you do, you'd be able to tell me a deeper reason than I just want to lose weight. That,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
same for me. Like, I don't do bodybuilding is way too mentally and physically challenging to just say the reason why I do bodybuilding and stay on track year round is because I want to lose weight. Because the reality is 50% of the year I'm gaining weight and 50% of the year I'm losing it, and that's bodybuilding. And your why just can't be because you want to lose weight, My why is because I want to prove something to myself over and over and over again after my injury that I can be more, that I can inspire people, that I can continue to push back and not be framed in a little box because of an injury and a disorder that I have. And that's really the deep why that keeps me driving. And on top of it, I enjoy it. If
Mhm.
you set a why or you set a goal and it's not something that you enjoy, then that why was not strong enough. And you got to change what you're doing because you're never going to stick to something that you don't have a why, that you don't have, if it doesn't make you feel good, you ain't going to stick to it.
Right. Yeah, definitely. You have to find the type of movement that you enjoy. Of course, that definitely helps. But yeah, I do this with my clients every single time when I get a new client. I ask them their health goals and I ask them why, what's their motivation behind it. And if
Yeah.
they can't tell me, then that's their first homework assignment because, yeah, if you don't connect it to your why, then you're not going to be motivated to actually do things to get there. Just
Yeah.
point blank. Like, it's not going to
It's
work.
just something you're putting out into the abyss, like, oh, this
Yeah.
is what I want to do.
Yeah, it's just like over there. It's not like connected to you.
Correct. Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right. What's your second one?
All right, so another reason why I feel like my own New Year's resolutions have failed, and I've seen a lot of other people's fail, is because it's such a restrictive mindset. When you make this list of 10 resolutions, it's like, or like we keep on using the example, I want to lose weight. You're I feel like it's so much better to add things in versus take them away. So like instead of saying I'm going to eat less, maybe say I'm going to add in more vegetables or I'm going to add in more protein or I'm going to add in more movement or I'm going to get my morning sunlight. Like just adding in those healthier habits that kind of like crowd out the bad ones. I feel like it's such a healthier way than like stripping it down, restricting because then you aren't able to stick to it obviously. Like another good example like I love taking dessert recipes and making them into like really healthy, clean recipes. Like last year, I was obsessed with those healthy Snickers bars that I would
Oh, yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Those were so good, like dates, dark chocolate. I forget, I'm blanking on the recipe right now, but like instead of saying I'm not gonna have any desserts or treats or sugar, like maybe you say, okay, on Sunday I'm gonna make this really healthy, clean dessert that I saw on TikTok or something, and then that's
Yeah.
gonna be a treat. Like that will keep you on track so much longer. And I know some people are doing like no sugar diets, and that's a whole nother conversation, but just an example, like it's so much more sustainable to like add things in than just be restrictive all the way through, in my opinion.
Totally agree. And like my next one that I was going to bring up that I always see, which ties right into this one, is like the all or nothing mindset. Um, if you just say, like you just said, I'm never going to eat a dessert again. Okay, really? Your birthday's coming up. You're telling me you're not gonna have a cookie or a piece of cake, or your wedding is coming up. You're not gonna eat your wedding cake, or you're gonna have vegetables instead. Like, come on. Like, just be realistic. You can't
Right.
just go into it with this all or nothing mindset, because the problem is, and I don't know why so many people are this way, because there's so many people that I know, I'm sure that you know, that we're very disciplined. Like, we're very disciplined people. But then when it comes to food, it's like, oh, if I mess up one time, I'm throwing in the towel. That would be
Uh-huh.
like if you just I think I've used this analogy before, but like if you were in sports and you just said, I missed one practice because I was sick. Oh, I'm done. I'm never going to soccer practice again. That's so stupid, you guys. But
Yeah.
that's the problem though, is
Yeah.
it's this all or nothing mindset that people set at the beginning of the year that gives themselves no like room for balance, and then they just don't even know how to navigate what that balance looks like, because they think it has to be all or nothing. And like that's really unfortunate, because the marketing propaganda in the health space is really horrible. And so
Mhm.
it makes people feel like if you aren't doing this a gajillion thousand percent, you're never going to reach your goals. And that's just not true. If you do something a million gajillion percent, you mess up one time, your whole life's going to come down. And maybe not for some people, but for
Yeah.
most people that I talk to, most people that I listen to online, that is the truth. So instead of saying it's all or nothing, like I am never going to eat a carb again, why don't you just say, you know what? I want to clean up my meals Monday through Friday, where I'm getting 4 to 5 meals in a day. And then, I'll just be mindful on the weekends. That's much more sustainable, and you're going to see results that way too. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
think the all or nothing mindset um, just really gets people,
Yeah.
flies them off their handle. Yeah, just.
100%. And that's just not realistic. I saw a post on Instagram the other day that was like what people think consistency is, and it was 5 cups that were full every
I've
day.
seen this.
And
Yeah.
then below it was like what consistency actually is. And it was 5 cups, and some of them were full, some of them were a quarter full, some of them were half full. But the point is that they keep showing up every day, and that's
Mhm.
what keeps you on track.
So this was one thing that I actually did a podcast with one of my teammates. His name's Cade, and we were talking about just EDs and things like that. And one of the things that I brought up to him is I said, here's how you have to frame if you whether you're afraid to eat or you're binge eating, or then that's the topic we were talking about, but it applies in this
Mhm.
situation too. Like let's just say you're setting a goal at the beginning of the year to feel better about yourself, start getting exercise and things like that. And you want to be more consistent, you want to be more disciplined. You have to understand discipline is not doing the same exact thing every single day. That's called a habit. Discipline is saying, okay, cool. This is my normal plan that I'm on, but on Friday I'm gonna go have a date with my husband or my friend, or we're gonna go get some drinks, and then Saturday you get right back on plan.
Right.
That's discipline. There is no discipline in doing the same thing every single day, never getting tested. If you don't test your habits or your discipline, how do you know you have it? Discipline is literally being able to go off track and come back on with no problem.
Yeah.
So, for anybody out there thinking that discipline or consistency is the same exact thing every single day, it's not. That's called a habit. And if you can't get off plan and come back on, then you don't have consistency and you don't have discipline. So that's how you test those things. And that's things that I like to tell the people that I work with too. I'm like, hey, like if there's someone that's super dessert sensitive, like they are very like if they have one dessert, they're gonna have 10, they're not gonna be able to get on track. I'll like build a sweet treat into their plan, like whether it's like a protein cookie or like a little healthy dessert recipe like that I've come up with, or whatever it may be. Kind of like how you were talking about. And I'll give that to them. But at some point, when you start becoming actually satiated because of what you're eating, people stop craving sugar as much. Um,
Mhm.
but then I'll be like, hey, like we've had this dessert, you've done really good, you've done your free meals, once a week or whatever. Like, why don't we try to have one cookie tonight, whatever kind of dessert you want, maybe it's a piece of cheesecake, and see if tomorrow if you can get back on your plan. And guess what? They do, because they've built those good habits. They've learned to substitute things, they're a lot more satiated now. And we test that, because you don't want to live in this life where you can never have a dessert and you can never have pasta and you don't want to live in that world. So
Right.
if you can test yourself, build those healthy habits, and then go back and test it. Test it every week. Test it twice a week. But getting back on plan, getting back on your thing, that is consistency, not doing the same thing every day. That was kind of a tangent, but it just kind of went
Yeah.
along with the consistency part.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's such a crazy reframe because you don't think of discipline in that way, but it's so true.
It is. Or like let's say one week let's say you're, I don't know, let's say one week you miss a workout or something. Okay, well, discipline is just getting up the next day and going to the gym or
Hmm.
going to yoga or going to CrossFit or going whatever you do, Pilates. Not disciplined would be to just throw in the towel. No, you got to have some grit,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And
100%.
that's discipline. That's discipline. It's not doing the same thing every single day. If you do the same thing every single day and you're never getting tested, you can't call yourself disciplined. You can just call yourself in a vicious cycle. No
Yeah.
way.
No, I agree. Yeah, that's so true.
And some people break it up more than others. Like for me, like I have a free meal once a week and it's a meal, it's not a day, but that's because I'm in bodybuilding and that's a part of my plan. But a lot of bodybuilders, they'll have one meal and then they go off the absolute handle and then they stuff their face the rest of the weekend. Not even I mean, forget bodybuilders, people just do that in general,
Yeah.
but that's my test. Once a week, I have my free meal. For
Yeah.
Christmas, I had 2 free meals, but I got right back on.
I also know that like your gut microbiome changes after eating a certain way for I think it's like 5 or 7 days. So
Interesting.
I've even noticed it myself, like, yeah, obviously with the holidays, a lot more foods that I wouldn't normally be eating, and then I'm like craving those foods, but it's because I've like altered my gut microbiome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be craving more sugar and things like that, but it's like that's the discipline to just get back on it, and then once
Yeah,
you're
just
on it
push
for a
through
few
and you'll
days,
go away.
it goes back to normal. Like I,
100%.
yeah, you just have to stick with it.
100%. So the next one that I wanted to talk about and kind of also really dive into a little bit more would be you don't actually, the reason I would say another pretty big reason why I say people fail on their New Year's resolutions is because they don't actually have a plan and they don't have any skin in the game. Let's be honest, if you're paying for something, you are 10 times more likely to stick with it because
Hmm.
there's a form of accountability. You have to report to somebody every week or every other week or whatever your thing looks like. And so basically what I'm saying is if you just say I'm going to start losing weight or I'm going to start getting strength stronger in the gym, what is your actual plan? Do you have a coach? Did you write something down? Are you doing research? What is your plan? You can't just go think about like your day-to-day job. Like if you just woke up and said, tomorrow I'm gonna close 5 deals. Okay, what's your plan? Are you going to visit your customers? Are you going to bring them quotes? Are you going to sit down with each and every one? Have you looked at your list to determine who's more likely to close and who's not more likely to close? Are you going in blind? Like again, we have no one would just say that without a plan. So
Right.
apply the same thing when it comes to your health goals. Have a plan. And my best advice is to hire a coach because I've mentioned this before. You could dye your hair with box dye, but it might fall out and it might look like crap. Or you can go to somebody that's a professional in it and you're going to leave there feeling very excited and feeling beautiful. So if
Yeah.
you hire a coach, somebody that does this day in and day out, one, you're investing in yourself. You're not in you have to remember too, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to invest in a coach. Mm-mm. You ain't investing in a coach, you're investing in yourself. By
Hmm.
giving somebody else the reins, you are investing in you, saying like, I'm going to give this person money so then I can be better. And it holds you accountable because you're paying for it. You have those check-ins, you have those things. So that's what I would say is people that don't have a plan and that don't hire a coach don't actually take that leap. On top of that, people that are like, oh, coaching's really expensive. So are medical bills.
Yeah.
So is cholesterol medication.
Right.
So is uh your health declining. That's expensive too. So
Yeah.
is if you go to the bar every single weekend and you spend 50, $60 at the bar on beers, times that by 4. Let's say you're spending $200 a month on alcohol or cigarettes or e-cigarettes. That's a coach.
Yeah.
So there's a lifestyle change you
Yeah.
can make. So just reframing that and finding a form of accountability by planning, actually having a plan like you would in anything else in your life, and hiring somebody that can help keep you accountable, um, and really educate you, I think is probably one of the best ways to curb not achieving your resolution.
Yeah, for sure. And even like on a smaller scale, like people say that about healthy groceries, that they're too expensive and they can't afford it. I'm like, okay, but what are you actually spending money on? Because I know if you're door dashing all the time, that's going to be even more expensive.
Store dashing is so expensive.
It's crazy. So it's just, yeah, it's like, what are you prioritizing? Because, like we said, it's more expensive to end up with a ton of medical bills, a ton of prescriptions, and I personally believe health is wealth, so I hate when I hear that argument. Supplements too, like all that kind of stuff. People are always talking about how expensive it is, but I'm like, but you're going out every weekend or you're getting your nails done, whatever.
Yeah, people don't realize where their money is going. I always tell people you vote with your dollars.
Yeah.
And like, if what you are spending on is a lot of junk food, it's going out 4 or 5 times a week, it's partying on the weekends, it's paying $100 cover to get into a club, like, then you go back and you say, oh, I can't afford it. Well, no, you can't afford it, and you can't afford healthy groceries, and you can't afford a coach because $500-600 is going out the door every month, and you don't even know where it's going because it's going towards unhealthy habits. Not saying you can't do those things every once in a while, but like if you decided to invest in a coach or buy healthy groceries, you would, that's an investment in itself, and that's kind of like accountability in itself, because you're saying, oh crap, I actually don't have money to go out and have 5 drinks this weekend.
Yeah.
Cool,
True.
eat your ground beef, man. Like, what are we, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you could probably have enough money to go out once a month, or
Yeah.
go out and get a drink twice a month. But if you invest in yourself, whether it's buying healthy groceries, hiring a coach, getting a gym membership, you're not going to be able to spend it elsewhere on habits that are not going to be conducive with what your goals are for 2026.
Yeah, 100%. And like we said, that's fine if you want to go out and do those things, but it's when people tell me they have all these health goals or they want to lose weight or they want to build muscle, but then their actions don't align. That's where it gets frustrating.
Very. Or they'll tell you, oh, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I don't have this. Okay, well, you literally just spent $100 at the bar last weekend. That
Yeah.
could have paid for half of your coaching bill or
Yeah.
your supplements this weekend. Like, it's choices.
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of hit on all the other ones. Like, we already talked about, like, the new year, like, nothing is just going to wake up and change your life, you know? And I think this podcast, we're really about making lifestyle changes and, like, really finding in us to make a positive change in what we really want to do. So I think just like taking this podcast and like really calling yourself out. Like when Morgan and I are sharing these things, we're not sharing these things to you guys to like make you feel you've done something wrong in the past or you're doing something wrong right now. These are things that her and I have both experienced, and reasons why our previous resolutions or just general goals, like overall, have failed. And by saying these things out loud, we're calling ourselves out, and we're saying like, hey, yeah, there was a time that I set a goal with literally no plan. There was a time that I set a goal and I went way too far and said I was going to do this 1,000%, and I failed. There was a time that I made a goal that was negative, and instead of making it about an identity, I made it a negative one, and that just didn't work. And so we don't say or share these things because we want you guys to feel bad about the way that you're setting goals. We're telling you these things because these are things that Morgan and I have both done, that we have failed, that has caused us to fail on our goals. And by calling yourself out on what you're actually doing will hold you accountable. And hopefully the tips that we have shared here will help you guys kind of reframe some of those common mistakes going into the new year.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely done that more than once, so.
So guilty. Also, you guys, really sorry if you're watching us on YouTube. I look so pale right now. I promise I'm not this pale. I think I'm just in not a good lighting situation. So
I'm so pale right now. Midwest winter, it's no joke.
it is no joke. Okay, do we want to share a couple goals, like personally, that we have this year?
Okay, sure. I'm nervous. Okay, so my first goal is to complete my yoga teacher training, which I'm enrolled and I start on Tuesday, so hopefully I'll be able to finish that out. I'm sure I will be. It's gonna be.
I can't wait to go to one of your yoga classes.
I'm excited. I think I just am excited for like new community, and I think it will help me a lot with like my nervous system regulation journey. And obviously I've been practicing for like 8 years, so like getting deeper into the poses and all that kind of thing. So that's my first goal. My fiance and I have a goal to buy a house this year.
Ooh.
Don't know if it's gonna happen, we'll see, but I really hope we can. And then what else should I do? Like, I don't know if I want to say that professional one. As for like professional goals, I guess I don't have anything like specific, but just continuing being consistent with the podcast, continuing with my like content on TikTok and getting coaching clients and my tallow business, like just continuing showing up for all those different endeavors every single day and taking actionable steps to further them along and make them successful.
I love that. Heck yeah, you're gonna crush all of that this year. I feel it. 2026, man.
I
Hey,
hope
see
so.
Morgan coming. I'm telling you. She's rolling. She's rolling.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
love that.
Maybe give a couple more workshops. I didn't do any in 2025, but I
Yeah.
did some in 2024 and it was like really fun. So
Oh my
maybe I
gosh.
need to add that. But yeah,
Yeah, I love
what
that.
about you?
So I kind of mentioned a couple already. I would say Connor and I are also looking to buy kind of like our forever home this year. So hoping that that comes up. That would be amazing. We've been looking.
Okay.
Gosh, man, I'm telling you, the housing market, I could do a whole podcast on the housing market right now. I already mentioned the Airbnb vacation rental thing. I'm not sure that's going to be a this year thing, but that's going to be like starting this year. And then from a professional side, in my role at work, I did just graduate with my MBA, so I would really like to get into a new role this year, gain some more responsibilities, start getting more comfortable with that. So I'm excited about that, hoping that can kind of start taking place soon. I did start a coaching business as well called Echo Strength, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to be starting consultation calls by the time you guys, it's next week, but by the time you guys hear this, it'll be like the week prior that I started my consultation calls. So I'm hoping to get, 15 to 20 clients by the end of the year. Yes. And then bodybuilding wise, I really would like to win an overall. I'd like to compete in my first national show this year. And yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at. Those are kind of like our main things um this year. So we'll kind of just see how that's what's on the calendar for now. So we'll see.
Love it. I love how you say all these like insane goals and you're like, yeah, so we'll see, like nothing big, nothing ambitious or anything.
It's fine. We're just gonna roll with it. And like I said earlier, if it doesn't get happen in 2026, that's okay. It's still on the goal.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't happen in 26 doesn't mean it may not roll into 27 or be a continuous goal. So
And
those are
having
just things.
like in your mind, in the back of your mind is gonna help you like start making strides
Yeah.
towards it. So gotta
100%.
start somewhere.
Yes. So number one is healing from this surgery, and then I'll be able to go from there. Oh, and I'm going to say this one for us, Balanced and Built podcast to get our first sponsor this year. So
Yes. I would love
like,
that
comment,
too.
subscribe. Yeah.
And we're gonna have a couple guests this year, so
We are
ready.
going to have guests. Get ready, guys. We're going to have our planning meeting soon, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm really excited.
Woo.
All right, you guys. Well, so sorry about if the audio is not awesome or the visual is not as good as usual.